Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Could these ladies be the reason why Jay-Z lost the bid against Nas for the Times Square casino? We're going to dive into this, and could it also have something to do with the alleged allegations of money laundering, RICO, and human trafficking that's surrounding the Roc Nation empire? We're going to delve into this. Sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's go. All right. You know, there's unique Mecca audio, man. Jay-Z's Roc Nation and Caesars Casino bid in question after allegations of money laundering and RICO. And then we also have Desiree Perez and her daughter going through a family dispute that I don't feel should be in the social media. Whoever knows this young lady and this woman, please talk to them. Tell them this is not a good look because, as you see, it's affecting business. Now, Nas won the bid. Round of applause to Nas. All right. Relax, y'all. Relax, man. Relax. You know, round of applause to at least, you know, one of our hip-hop stars got it, you know. Like Jay-Z, but, you know, Nas kicked that, you know, that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for me. All right? Now, let's get into this and see what's going on. Following allegations of Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation, being involved in money laundering, racketeering, and human trafficking, critics are questioning why Caesars Entertainment would risk their proposed $5 billion Times Square casino by partnering with alleged criminal organization. They're already calling Jay-Z's organization a criminal organization. That's crazy. Now, right, recently we covered by the lawsuit filed by Terrence Dixon, TA, accusing Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation, of trafficking, racketeering, money laundering, and other federal crimes. The lawsuit details alarming pattern of criminality by Roc Nation. You know, the lawsuit by T.I., you know, the hype man that wrote a lot of his songs, so they say, I don't know, wasn't there. But now, you know, for Fat Joe, Caesars Palace gambling reputation with Roc Nation partnership, money laundering alleged. Now, how are we going to go about this? Now, the Broadway community has been getting increasingly vocal in their opposition of the proposed casino, which includes a partnership between Jay-Z's Roc Nation and Caesars Entertainment. The Caesars Palace Times Square Casino proposed is one of 8 competing for one of 3 available casino licenses. Do you know how big that is? Roc Nation's association with numerous federal crimes, alleged federal crimes, let's say that, especially money laundering, is alarming both critics and the community concerned, right? So that's what the critics is saying, right? So now, per the August 8th, 2025 filing against Fat Joe, Roc Nation, and others, the pleading sets forth specific acts by Roc Nation personnel, including the coordinated or financial cover-ups, the laundering of illicit proceeds through corporate accounts, and the provision of resources to conceal ongoing criminal conduct. Now, let me say this, right? This is one of those cases where I gotta ask y'all to put in the comments. If you was Jay-Z, would you have stepped in and spoke to Fat Joe and just told Fat Joe, yo, break the dog off a bowl, man. I'm on my way to get this $5 billion deal. He got my name tied up in all this. Man, I'll even give you some money. Just make it go away. You know, you think Jay-Z should have gave Fat Joe the money that dude was asking for to make it go away and told him, yo, just negotiate that already. Because now this lawsuit that he filed with Tyrone Blackburn is going to read like an indictment, which it does, like they did the Diddy trial. So now Tyrone Blackburn allegedly also sits down with federal agents when he write these lawsuits. So that's what makes it so dangerous. And that's what y'all have to realize, that it's not like a typical lawsuit against a regular Hollywood entertainer. We talking about people that came up from the trenches and mixed and dipped and daubed with certain people that that they shouldn't have, but they did. They may not even had nothing to do with it. But now, do you think Jay-Z should have told him, yo, just break him off, man, and make this go away? You're going to cost me this $5 billion joint, man. That's just one. Put it in the comments. Rock Nation, through its leadership and personal coordinated with the defendant, Cartnega, Fat Joe, to laundering illegal proceeds, shield criminal activity from law enforcement security, and provide operational cover for the enterprise. You know how that look, right? Because we're going to ride. You know how that looks to the casino people that's looking to entrust $5 billion in the hands of Rock Nation with these allegations. And for that is the reason why I think Jay-Z should have told Fat Joe, stop it, man. I know Fat Joe personally, very, very intelligent businessman. I can take you another ride with Fat Joe. Fat Joe back in the day was one of the smartest up-and-coming rappers back then. To me, he was the smartest. He did the smartest marketing plan. When he went to Relativity Records, I think it was, and they gave him a little crumb, maybe, whatever. But he took like $20,000 of his own money to promote his first single. I was out there when that happened. Then I went to prison, and over the 26 years while I was gone, I watched Fat Joe elevating and elevating and elevating. And I remember when Fat Joe first put together the street team, and he paid for his own posters, he paid for his own flyers and bill, he paid for everything to promote himself. And look where he's at now, and I want to give Fat Joe a round of applause. I want to give Fat Joe a round of applause. I know, hold on. And big shout out to his dispensary over there on 8th Avenue and 115th Street. I think it's Dynasty, dispensary. And big shout out to Tone that runs it. He treats me very well when I go there. He treats everybody well. If you're in town, go check out that dispensary up in Harlem. I got to give him a plug. Yo, you owe me, son. All right. Now, but he always buy me drinks whenever we meet up over at, the little spot across the street. I ain't gonna plug them yet, but I gotta plug them because that's still family over at the row house. That's how we do that. But now, Fat Joe, I think you should have settled that with him, because these indictments, lawsuits disguised as indictments, it's gonna come back to bite y'all, dog. I've been through this. I keep telling y'all, I've been through it. Y'all keep running to these lawyers to get information when all you got to do is call my number. Call my number. It's all you got to do is call my number, and I guide you through where they're going, because I know how investigations are produced. Just to help you stay within the bounds to be 100% legit like you are. But instead they run to the lawyers tell them a bunch of crazy crap. Oh, go make this apology. Oh, go do this, go do that. And they look crazy as hell. You know what I mean? But now, right? So the proposed casino will increase, this is what they're saying now. They're saying that the proposed casino will increase crime, a beacon of gangs, crime as well as drug and human trafficking, if they allow Jay-Z to get the bid. This is where they was running at with it, to show you how vicious this is and how these lawsuits, come back to bite, and then they hurt, you in the long run. Among critics concerned that the casino will increase crime, the mere association with a perceived criminal organization like Rock Nation, they call them a criminal organization. No. Could make the casino a beacon of gangs, crime, as well as drug and human trafficking, stated anonymous sources, all point Jay-Z and Rock Nation synonymous with crime. This is crazy. So alarming allegations against Rock Nation, right? So they said the alarming allegations in the complaint against Rock Nation has people questioning in this type of criminality will manifest in the proposed Times Square casino. So that makes them want to say, man, I can't mess with them. I can't do it. You know. So now look at this, right? Rock Nation, right, coordinated to shield criminal activity from law enforcement scrutiny. Now, with headlines like this going out, and here he is trying to get, the casino people to give him $5 billion, and this is how they're painting them. Y'all need to really pay attention. Get rid of those fake lawsuits. Listen, man, because we riding. I understand because I was there, and we are about to ride. Now, I was there, so I know how it is when you elevate past your peers. Your peers don't want to listen. They think they know more than you. They still see you as this person or that person, but you don't elevate it because you're growing, you're learning. And then now they get mad because you got to continue to move past them because you can't bring them because they're trying to compete and they still haven't even seen the first step of the ladder to success. And you're already 5 steps up the ladder. So now you leave behind, and now they say, oh, I remember when I was with him and he did this. I remember when I was with her and she did this. She's a this and he's a this and he's a that. And that's how this thing plays out. Look at these headlines that this man has. And he's trying to get not million, $1 billion. Y'all think about that. That deserves a gunshot. All right, let's keep it moving. So now, Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, has faced a slew of allegations recently. Among those are allegations involved in the R of a 13-year-old girl with close associate Sean Diddy Combs, who was never charged with none of this. So we know this is a bunch of crap, but this is how they put it out there and wind up stopping people's billion-dollar movements. His alleged involvement in murders, come on, man, and his company, Rock Nation, and the convicted felon, Desiree Perez, alleged involvement in racketeering activity, illegally surveilling and committing Perez's own daughter. So now he's caught up in this with Desiree Perez. Do you think that, he should continue to keep, Desiree Perez? Y'all put that in the comments. I think if she's doing a good job, she should stay where she's at. But they making it like she's a problem, and I'm getting ready to show you where it is, because now they're using her being the CEO of the company like that would affect the $5 billion casino deal. But I'm going to break that down. I'm going to show you how they could be looking at it as well. But you know what? So let's go over here, and we're going to find out what's going on with Desiree, daughter alleged that she was racketeering, illegally surveilling and committing her to a mental institution and for mental evaluation, must correct, and for substance abuse, because they saying that she couldn't control the drug use. And the mom said that she seen her the night before and she was, about to OD or OD. You're going to hear it from her. But, this is a crazy story, but we have to get to this. All right.
A South Florida woman is taking legal action after she says she spent nearly 2 weeks in mental health institutions for no legitimate reason.
She claims in a recently filed lawsuit that it was orchestrated by her own mother and others who should have protected her failed her.
NBC6 investigative reporter Amy Viteri has her story.
What do you think about, should a daughter be suing the mother? Just listen to this. I don't see where the suit come in at, but what I'm getting from this is that the mother don't like the husband, or the boyfriend. I don't know if they're married, but the mother just don't like him, and, she's making moves to try and save the daughter. But sometimes mothers and fathers have to stay in their place and let our children learn from their mistakes. I'm just saying, because we did what we wanted to do no matter what our parents said back then. But it's only right that our parents voice their opinion, so it's only right that Desiree voice her opinion about how she feel about the direction that her child is going in, even though she's a woman now. All right.
So legally, I can go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker acted.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demore Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, so dog's not going to be able to come?
I don't want to be handcuffed. That's
Okay.
fine.
Demore says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk to herself.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before.
Mind you, now, they said that she tried to OD the night before, and now you're going to hear that when she was taken into the doctor's clinic, that she had no substance within her urine. She even gave a hair sample to show that she haven't gotten high, and that went back as far as 3 months when you do a hair sample. But if you was getting high on prescription pills or drugs or whatever the night before, it would still be in your system the next day. So the mother went on record and said that she was getting high the night before and she was out of control and she needed to have a mental evaluation. And then they went a step further and they put her into a substance abuse program, even though she was, clean of any substance, within her urine. All right.
And according to Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of Rock Nation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
The complaint alleges a conspiracy, saying Perez used her money, power, and influence to tear apart Demore and her husband, Javon Hadley, and created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot.
To essentially try to separate me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence.
Perez.
All right, see right there. Don't she look just like her mother though? Right? But what it is, the mother don't like the son with the daughter. Do y'all think the mother going too far getting involved in this like that for it to escalate like this? And do y'all think that this could be reconciled with them sitting down talking? I hope they choose to do that, because this is not looking good, Desiree or Demore. Not at all. All right, but we riding.
Has repeatedly denied these allegations in court filings. A month before Demore filed her complaint, we found her mother filed her own lawsuit against Demore's husband, Javon, citing evidence Perez says he has abused her daughter for years, something the couple has denied in court records. In that lawsuit, Desiree Perez says she moved to Baker Act her daughter, fearing she was at risk of suicide and abusing prescription drugs.
I haven't seen anything in my entire 20 years of practicing law that it is so clear that someone did something wrong.
Attorney Hilton Napoleon is representing Demore in the lawsuit, which claims Perez harassed the couple for years, including making unfounded claims to get Javon arrested on multiple occasions for battery and domestic violence, charges prosecutors did not pursue.
The state attorney's office wrote a 11-page scathing closeout memoranda, which basically said that her mother made false allegations to the police.
In this
See, now they say they got court documents that a judge made an order say that Desiree Perez made false statements towards to the police. Pay attention to this now.
closeout memo, a prosecutor with the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office cites Demore's lack of cooperation and raises concerns about some of the evidence and how it was obtained. The prosecutor also wrote Demore was wrongfully Baker Acted last year, something her mother's attorney disputes in this letter challenging many of the memo's other conclusions.
I have 3 different collateral sources of information that say that she's been acting psychotic, that she threatened to overdose yesterday.
Demore's lawsuit alleges her mother conspired with prominent psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober, seen here in body camera video, and others to have Demore committed for a mental health evaluation. Bober cites supporting evidence from her family and diagnosed Demore with an unspecified psychosis. He ordered she be taken to Memorial Regional Hospital, where he is chief of psychiatry, and where results from drug tests taken upon admission were negative, according to records Demore shared with us.
Pay attention now. This is the daughter. Tell me she don't look just like the mother. She shared records showing that she didn't have no substance in her urine. So pay attention to this. And then she winds up in a substance abuse program. And that sounds like, be careful, because them people might come in and call that kidnapping and, with a conspiracy between the psych and the mother. because that's how this thing could play out. Just letting you know. See, these are the things why you contact me and I let you know this. And that's why I put my number up. You know what I mean? So, if you have anything, if you got anything against what I'm saying, feel free to call me. We can talk about it as men, but we don't do the fake YouTube videos. That's why I'm both defending that if this, young lady's doing a good job, that shouldn't have had nothing to do with the casino. But the people putting up their money, they're going to look at that. So do y'all think that, she should still keep that position, even though it's bringing light to them and possibly costing them billion-dollar deals with casinos? Let's keep it moving. All right, what we doing, man? What we doing? All right, we riding.
They told me your tox screens came out negative, and I go, I know. I don't do drugs.
In a statement, Dr. Bober's attorney said DeMore was placed under the Baker Act for 38 hours due to the potential risk of imminent harm she posed to herself, adding failing to take appropriate action would have been a breach of Dr. Bober's ethical and professional obligations. While DeMore was at Memorial, her mother further petitioned to have her transported to a different facility under Florida's Marchman Act, claiming again in court records that DeMore suffered from severe drug abuse.
See, he could have got away with saying that he had a moral obligation in order to give her the evaluation at the mental joint. He could have got away with that. But now, after she tested negative for any substance in her body, and then him sending her to this rehab mental thing, for substance abuse, per the mother's order, now they could get them for conspiracy to kidnap this young lady and hold her against her will in this institution. And that's a whole nother bag you don't want to open up. So I'm going to say, Mom, Desiree, give your daughter what she asking for. You would have gave it to her anyway. God forbid if something happened to you, you're going to leave it all to her anyway, even though you're angry. So give it a little bit she want. Let this go away. You know how young people are, man. Just give her the money and let it go away. That's what I would say.
A judge granted that petition.
They ran the test. They knew that she had no drugs in her system and she was not abusing drugs. And the fact that you can't do anything about it is scary.
DeMore was sent to this treatment center in Deerfield Beach, where Dr. Bober serves as medical director.
Where are the people that are supposed to protect me from this happening?
See, and that sounds like a setup for kidnapping.
According to her lawsuit, DeMore requested a hair follicle test at that facility called Life Skills, which detects drug use for at least the past 3 months, and which showed no drugs had been in DeMore.
Now, if there was no drugs in her for 3 months, and there was no drugs in her when he took her to the first clinic, then why did he take her to the second clinic? And once he found out there was no drugs in her for 3 months from the hair follicle test, why did he continue to hold her? That's how they're going to come at him. That's what it's going to be. Let's ride out.
DeMore was held at Life Skills until April 8th. She shared discharge paperwork that lists a diagnosis of persistent depressive disorder, which she disputes. No
medication was given?
Medication was prescribed. Court records show DeMore was able to leave that day after her mother voluntarily dismissed the case.
So it goes to show that she's alleging that her mother was in control of this alleged kidnapping that they're going to be looking at them for, because that's kidnapping, doctor.
DeMore,
I'm just saying, that's alleged kidnapping. Let's get that right. But from where I come from, what I know, that's alleged kidnapping. That I've seen people in jail for less when it comes to that. Let's ride. I seen, somebody get mad and, lock his girlfriend in the house while he go out because, he's one of those, but I love a dog type dudes, right? So he's saying he love her, he don't want to let her out because he don't trust her out there without him, so he locks her in the house. And that's the way the relationship went. And then one day she decided to go to police, say, hey, he won't let me out the house. He's kidnapped me. And they said, what do you mean? They said, no, he's been locking me in the house. And then now he's in court for that. And next thing I know, he's in prison doing 40 years with me for locking his girl in the house when he go out. They said that he kidnapped her. I said, but dog, didn't you say that when you came back, then y'all went out together? He said, yeah, but being that I didn't let her go out by herself. So I said, you never let her go out by herself? He said, no, I always went with her. I said, well, that sounds like kidnapping, dog. But that's how they say. I'm not making light of it, man. Let's keep it moving.
Says the damage has been done, and she feels a system designed to keep people safe failed to protect her.
Money, influence, and power should not be something that's used, right, or abused to hurt innocent people.
Perez has filed a motion to dismiss DeMaury's complaint, asserting that the Baker Act and other legal proceedings she has undertaken were rooted in legitimate concern for her daughter's safety.
The Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office tells us they stand by their memo.
Now, so that's where we at with that, right? Now we're gonna ride into Nicki Minaj and see what Nicki got to do with this. All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Impressive channel. This is going to be an interesting story because last week, Nicki Minaj called out Roc Nation, and Nicki has had some issues with Roc Nation. If you don't know, Roc Nation is run by Jay-Z and the CEO, Desiree Perez. And Nicki has seemingly dropped hints that she has been facing sabotage behind the scenes. However, we don't exactly know to what extent. Recently, she did lend out some public support to Desiree's daughter, DeMaury Hadley. Now, if you don't know, DeMaury is going through a legal battle with her mother, Desiree, because she claims that Desiree hired a network of people to stalk and harass her and her husband, Javon. She allegedly had them followed by private investigators. A GPS tracker was put on her car. A secret camera was planted in her room without her consent or knowledge. Her devices were hacked. Her husband was falsely arrested 3 times. And DeMaury claims that her mother conspired with a network of people to have her falsely detained under the Baker Act and the Marchman Act, even though she is not mentally incapacitated, nor does she use drugs at all. But she alleges that Desiree tried to do this in order to get guardianship over her. Now, Desiree was able to get a gag order in place against DeMaury, and that gag order was granted by the district judge, Beth Bloom. But prior to this order being granted, DeMaury actually did several interviews with BJ Investigates, Jaguar Wright, Respectfully Xavier, and also Tasha K. She also told her story on NBC6 South Florida News. And Nicki Minaj has been keeping up with the story, as a lot of us have, and she has publicly supported DeMaury. She said #justice for them. She also went on to talk about some of her own frustrations. Somebody said TikTok especially hasn't wanted us to defend you lately, like at all. And Nicki said they've had access to my accounts on all platforms. I didn't change the passwords either. I let them continue doing everything they allegedly did to DeMaury to me. And you have no idea how disgusting it gets. Enough is enough. Barbs, that's the real reason I won't release music. To the PMs who claim it wasn't made clear to your ugly selves, hopefully DeMaury's massive and detailed page-by-page claim gets you all the way caught up. And never call me a liar. Never insinuated either. Every single angel ever created fights for me at the mere mention of that word as it relates to me. Vengeance is the Lord's. Be careful. No one who conspired on the wrong side will go unpunished for the role they played in this movie. I hope it was all worth it. And DeMaury actually thanked Nicki Minaj, and she said, "Thank you, I'm so grateful." And even though Nicki doesn't know her and never met her, she heard the story like a lot of us have, and I think she empathizes with her.
Why is it
Now, yeah, let's ask that.
that Nicki Minaj is so invested in what's happening to you?
I haven't spoken to her, by the way, so I'm going to put that on the record. I have not been in direct contact with her. Would love to. I think she's standing up for me because she has been through some trauma and some abuse with Roc Nation, with Desiree Perez, with other individuals. What I can say about that is I've witnessed and heard a lot of things. Again, is hearsay, right? So it doesn't even matter. And that's why I'm not even going to go into detail with that. But I've kind of seen, just like you firsthand, how they've kind of abused her. They've abused of her platform. They abused of her talents. They've abused of her freedom of speech. They've abused her family. They've attacked her husband. They've attacked her child. And it's sad. I think she's really outspoken, and I'm grateful that she's being outspoken on it, because I think she's almost seeing it like, well, it happened to me. It's happening to her. Let me speak up on it. Nobody is safe right now. And she's fed up. I think she's fed up because she's been through a lot.
It really says a lot for DeMaury to actually say that, because a lot of people would think that Nicki is just acting crazy and she's paranoid, but I think she has been through a lot of things that we really don't even know about, which is probably why she supports Damori, like a lot of people do. Now, I really want to get into Damori's story because I'm sure a lot of us are wondering, what is the issue between Desiree and her daughter Damori? Well, according to Damori, she and her mother kind of have a complex relationship, considering that her mother wasn't really there for her when she was young. Her mother was in the streets, she was trafficking drugs, she was into fraud, she was a criminal, okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into all that. That's getting a little too much. But I just wanted to report on this story, and I'm not gonna, I'm just bringing up what was in the court documents. I have a whole video that I plan on doing. Put in the comments if you want to see it, where I could give you a timeline of where all these legal issues came. The first shots came when, the daughter, Desiree, bust a gun at mom's. Then mom's had to defend herself. She told her, the court said don't post nothing. The daughter went and posted and went on shows, as you just seen, and and everything spiraled out of control. But just make sure y'all subscribe to my daughter's YouTube channel at Juanita Mecca Audio and Real Boss TTTV if you want to just listen to some nice music. He got good Jay-Z music over there too. He makes mixtapes and things like that and put whole albums up. So if you riding and you just want something to listen to, please go to Real Boss TTTV and support the brother. Because we have to support each other in this time. All right?
Cheers, 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 the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What?
Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this.
Real.
Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio.